This is a mini lesson analysis on Marth versus Sheik. Yeah, be very. You got a little bit lucky here, but be very careful about this down tilt where he's taking an approach and you're maintaining space. Yeah, again, it's just that it's working out, but that's only because the Sheik is not very tight about their CC game. And just seeing you trying to either maintain space or attack in these scraps is making me very, very nervous. That one was fine. Even though like the reason why I'm inclined to say this one's fine is because like, you know, at least the overall trend is that the Sheik is uh going to engage. And if you're gonna engage back at Sheik, you need it early to hitbox. And this works. And you're in the corner, so it was understandable. Yeah, be careful about that double jump fair. But yeah, this is um I even though this is the correct macro. So hear me out here. That I'm gonna say that this is the correct, like you ended up getting the right RPS draw here, but I still don't think it was the right play. Simply because if you were wrong here in terms of like uh they ended up like attacking you. I feel like the like the expected value of maintaining space here was like kind of whatever versus like if they attacked you more preemptively, you would have been in big trouble. And I think you should have looked out for that more. Because I could see in future interactions you feel compelled to keep maintaining space, and that is gonna result to like you getting hit a lot more. Also, we should have upbeat out shield that, in my opinion. Could up smash that if they ever recover on the side platform and like it's like kind of ambiguous if forward smash would hit. You could also up smash. You have enough time. Yeah, the full out fair. You really want to avoid doing that if you can. Like you only want to do it when it's guaranteed, and you know when they double jump on stage like that, it's not guaranteed. Should probably die here. At least you don't die yet, but now you should die. Yeah, see how like again you're like engaging here, or like you're engaging close to them, and that is just making it very likely that you'll get hit. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but the fact that sometimes it doesn't, I think, is an unacceptable risk to take in these kind of spots. Like get that down to in place. It's like, man, you are. It's like the chances of you getting hit is, I don't like it because like the value of like landing this down tilt is like really like whatever burger here. I mean, yeah, that down tilt earlier, it's like, yeah, I think you're risking a lot to do so compared to like the value that you get off of down tilt. Really, it's like it's fine. It's just that the macro that you're going for with maintaining space, that part is not as fine. It's less about the down tilt or more about the macro of like constantly trying to maintain space right in front of Sheik's face is begging for trouble because that invites opportunities for a Sheik to find an attack with like a boost grab. Meanwhile, doing something like this, like it was slightly off of your spacing, but this is the right idea. Now that like, I want to see you do more of that more. While also, at the same time being within range. I don't want to see you be so outside of range that like that Sheik just canceled needles. But this was just a beautiful sequence. Like I want to iterate that this is what I'm looking for. Like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Um, this is now I don't have that much complaints aside from that edge guard. When it's ambiguous that like they could recover on stage, you can just go for a ledge dash preemptive forward smash because it's very hard for them to sweet spot, if not straight up impossible. So you could have done a preemptive a ledge dash forward smash there for a proper edge guard. You should fair from ledge. And bad high recovery. You've been doing these early double jumps. That's also just been a common theme across like whenever I watch you play, you really should tend to recover low more often than not. Or at least like don't immediately give up your double jump. Down smash. You walked forward. And then you try to take space when this vertical interaction, and that is not gonna that tends to it's not like again it's impossible as long as you do a rising aerial, but it's such a tight micro that instead what if you just got out of the way? And yeah, stuff like that. You have to always look out for that and see how like you try to take space. And also if you maintain space, you still would have lost it dash attack. This is why I want you to favor giving up space more often. And now you die. This is why I had such a huge issue, even though like earlier it was working out. The fact that this can happen where you just die. That's why I had a gigantic issue with how you maintain space a little bit too much. Down smash. Yeah, you down smash there to cover both like the get up and the roll in. Funny how that worked out. Yeah, how you're look at this again. You're maintaining space. But this is actually tricky because you actually can't really give up that much space. So in that case, if you think they're going to attack, then you need to go for a tie here because, you know, you don't have enough space to retreat. But yeah, see how like, you know, when you maintain space, you make it easier for the Sheik to hit you. But there you gave up space and now like, you know, you're winning a lot more neutral. I really wish here that instead of this regular get up, you did a ledge dash, either up tilt or forward smash right before they land, because you really don't want to, you know, general rule of thumb, don't give Sheik back or double jump. I mean, this is actually goes for every character, if I'm being honest, but also you really can't get a Ken combo there. But yeah, I mean, you know, some also sloppy edge guards doesn't help you, but the overall macro of how often you're maintaining space is like the big thing. And when you're giving up space, by the way, like you won like almost all your interactions every time you've given up space. So I just want you to like, you know, the times that you were owning the Sheik is when you were within threat range, but also gave up space. But there is obviously some nuance. When you give up space without a hitbox, so the big difference between doing a dash back or a short hop back. A short hop back, as long as you know you don't immediately get hit from a short hop back, the mix-ups are much more straightforward because you have an immediate hitbox. So the RPS is much more straightforward, even though it's slightly more committal than a dash back. A dash back is faster. However, it doesn't have an immediate hitbox. So even if you win the macro, which in this case you gave up enough space with them taking space, it's either that your threat range needs to be very precise and or like even though like you are favored in terms of frame data, you're not actually guaranteed a hit, and that's what makes something like dash back tricky sometimes. Is that dash back doesn't necessarily guarantee it's a soft commit win in terms of macro, but you're not actually getting a direct hit. And that's just something to be aware of every time you do a dash back, is that it's really only good if they spam like hard commits like a dash attack here. But if they do a milder soft commit where technically what they do is unreactable, dash back is a little bit like you know, if you went for a short hop back instead, you straight up win the interaction. But you do a dash back and now it's like, well, you're favored, but you know, that's the tricky thing to consider. Because you know, it's not a good thing, by the way, for the Sheik to spot dodge, but at the same time, it is a mix-up at the end of the day. So that's just something to keep in mind when you perform certain soft commits that don't have hitbox, like things like CC dash dance. Is that while you may win certain macros, you do need to work a little bit harder for the hit at times. So that's just something to note, is that it's good. Like soft commits that have no hitbox are good at getting data information, but it's actually not good at straight up winning an interaction. That's just something to keep in mind when it comes to the certain micro choices you choose. Hey, I love that cross up. But again, this is a similar weakness that I told you about the dash dance thing. So just kind of keep that in mind about your overall macro ideas. It's just the big flaw of like how you lost, how you were losing is due to maintaining space a little bit too often and attacking, especially in the vertical space where you just took space too much. But also knowing some nuance about certain soft commits like dash back versus short hop back goes a long way for understanding.